configuration.
Yeah, it's saying prepare to live stream.
Om. 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 Om Shri Sai Ram. Welcome to this evening's Region 10 Inspirational Channel for yet another session. This is session 3 of 3 for this quarter, where we are getting to know the leaders in our region. We have two very exceptional leaders in our region, one a youth leader and another who is the president of one of the largest centers in our region. So I hope we get to listen to both of them and get inspired through their journey, get the nuggets from their experiences, and feel inspired. Excuse me. Hope all of you have had wonderful Ishwarambade celebrations this past month. And in the coming months, it's all going to be, very, very important activities, starting with Guru Purnima and many other programs coming up, culminating in the next quarter with our regional retreat. So the registrations are out. Hopefully, everybody is already excited about the program. As you know, we have a fantastic speaker, Swami student, Arvind Balasubramanya, who's going to be here. He's going to spend the retreat with us and with Region 5. So I hope all of you please register as quickly as possible. Having said that, I want to start off this evening's program remembering Swami's word. He has emphasized so many times about how youth hold the ultimate transformational power to shape the future of the society. So that is why he started the youth movement, the young adult program. And we want to introduce to you today one of the young leaders in our region, Sister Shraddha Shankar. Sister Shraddha grew up in a Sai family in the Middle East in a couple of different countries. And she has gone through the Bal Vikas program. And when she came to the US to study, and then subsequently has lived in a few cities. And every city that she has lived in, she has taken the Sai Center families there as her family. And she has participated in the Sai Center activities. And we are fortunate that she is now moved to our region. She is the Assistant Devotional Coordinator at the Austin Sai Center. Sister Shraddha, we welcome you to this program. I request you to come in and share your experiences and your journey. And we thank Swami for giving us this opportunity for all of us to be together this evening to reminisce about our journey collectively so that, he blesses us all. Thank you for joining. Sorry.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction. It feels such an honor to be here. I have very minimal experiences, but I just reflected on the last few years, and I want to share whatever I've learned along the way and leave you all with a message the best way that I can. And in this process, I pray that Swami speaks through all of us and through listens through all of you as you take back this message. So as Vijayashri Aunty said, I grew up in the Middle East and I attended Balvikas and Bhajans as a child. That was probably one of my most favorite activities even growing up. As a child, I was instantly drawn to the musical element of it, and the fact that we could have so much fun when actually doing such a spiritual activity. So I always enjoyed it. And in 2010, I had the great opportunity to go along with the Middle East group to Puttaparthi and do a yatra there. So we stayed for 10 days, and I actually can share a very precious photo that I have from there. So this picture was taken when we got when all the kids who were part of the choir got the opportunity to take a photo with Swami. So we had done a full performance, and then he came close to us, and I think every student there got the opportunity to get Pada Namaskar. And for those of you wondering, the person who's standing up slightly in the back with a sheepish smile, that's me when I sneaked in a second Pada Namaskar because I thought the first one wasn't enough, and enough of my palm didn't touch. So I kind of reached back and snuck one more in. But yeah, so that was probably one of the most significant experiences that I had. The whole journey as a whole, being there in the Prashanti Mandir for 10 days, attending morning and evening Vedam sessions and bhajan sessions, interacting with all of the other kids and parents and everything. It was such a wholesome experience. By the end of it, not only were we so moved by, actually seeing the physical form and singing in front of him and having him, sway his hands and sway his face and say, go on, okay, you can sing the next song. And all of that aside, even going back with those memories, by the end of the 10 days, all of us knew the Vedam completely by heart just because we had heard it morning and night. And, I wasn't part of any Vedam class or anything until then. And I started after that, but that was the long-lasting experience that I had. And so this was always a part of my life, but I didn't want to talk. This was not the focus of today's talk, because I wanted to think about what I could say that would actually leave a lasting impact. And as I thought about it, I thought, the time after this is the more challenging one, personally, because I grew up and had to do adulting and everything, but also because at that point we didn't have a physical form to look to. And so how do we move past that, right? So that's kind of what I want to share today. As I was reflecting, I was reflecting on the last 10 years, and I realized we don't need to have a physical presence if we can see that Swami in everybody who we've met and who has created some impact to us. So that's really what I want to share today. Instances in my life where I've seen his magic and his glory in full form through people, and I hope we can all take that back as something to continue doing for the rest of our lives. So I came to the US in 2015. I was less than 18 years old, and for the first time I wasn't actually told or scheduled to go to a Sai center I had finished Balvika, so I could make that choice by myself. And I went to Purdue University, which is in West Lafayette, and to people who don't know, it's referred as the village of cornfields because there's nothing there. It's just a university town and cornfields. And in that very small village, I happened to find a very small Sai center, and I met some amazing people, and there was this uncle who committed to picking us up, like my sister and I and one of our best friends, with three of us. He used to come every Friday, come pick us up and come drop us, because we were undergrad kids, didn't have a car on campus, but they were so excited at the prospect of having students and young adults coming to bhajan. So he would be there sharp on time. Not even one Friday of my entire 4 years of undergrad did he ever bail on picking us up and taking us to center. Even if sometimes we would tell him, uncle, we are stuck in lab, I don't think we can make it, he would say, just tell me 20 minutes before, I will make sure we reach by 7:59 and be seated on time for bhajans. So he was so flexible, and they all used to take care of us like their own kids, take us to and from center, make sure we've eaten, make sure everything is going on. And to me, that is exemplification of Swami's principles and Swami's values. That is God in human form. That is God in action. And so that was my first view into seeing that, yeah, all we need to do is put on the silence, and we can actually see him through everybody. So that was my 4 years in Purdue. Very small Sai center, but met the most pure hearts there, truly different embodiments of Swami. After that, I got a job in Memphis, and it's a bit weird to say this. I was distraught when I got my first job, because the perception that everybody had about Memphis was, it's again, it's one of those places where there's nothing to do and maybe a slightly higher crime rates or whatever. And I didn't know a single person who was going there, and it was probably the most scary thing in my life. But I took two bags and went. Moved to Memphis, started my first job, and again, once more, played the same algorithm again, reached out and went to the Sai Center there, and again, met one of the finest people I have met to date. So genuine and so pure. Until I had a car, they would come in again, make sure I would have a ride to go to center. After I got a car, some of the aunties would, message me, Shraddha, did you reach home? Are you fine? If it rained a little bit, they would check in on me. It was so selfless and pure. It felt like a mother's love through so many different people. Again, not something that would be possible if this was not Swami in all his magical glory. And I only stayed there for 6 to 9 months, and then the pandemic hit, so everything went virtual. But in those 6 to 9 months, they showered me with so much love. I said I was interested to teach children, and they got me trained as an SSC teacher, and immediately entrusted the pre-SSC and SSC group 1 kids. They said, yeah, go teach them, it's fine. And such open hearts. And then they realized I was interested in organizing bhajans and devotional elements. So the president at that time, he got me involved in a devotional team, and he gave me full authority to say, okay, go manage the Zoom bhajans. No questions asked, no doubts raised, but it was just a belief in me that she enjoys it and she's going to do it. And I can't say much except the fact that he was working through all of them. And then when I moved, when the pandemic was happening, we had a lot of these similar to these kind of talks, inspirational talks. And one of the aunties there, she did a talk, and I happened to attend, watch it on YouTube that day. And she shared her experience of how when she was looking to get married, she wanted a sign from Swami, and she got it. When they went out, she got the sign that she needed, and of course they were married. And they're an amazing couple now. And when I watched this, I just chuckled to myself. I was young then, nowhere close to getting married or anything, and I just chuckled to myself and said, that's never going to be me. That auntie is an Anantapur student. She's an amazing singer, and uncle was literally the embodiment of peace. If I feel like if Swami ever had such a description of Shanta Swarupalaru, it would have been him. I've never seen him, raise his voice or frown his eyes, nothing, so gentle. So I said, yeah, she's from Anantapur, he is so gentle. So, of course, Swami will help all of them. I'm never going to get any of these things. I just, like, in my own cynical mind, I rubbished it away, though the thought came that, will I ever get this? And that was it. I never thought about this, and I'll come back to this a little later as I continue in my journey. But I just wanted to mention this because that was one of my connections to the Memphis Sai Center. And then I moved to Indianapolis. Again, I met some really great people there. I used to live 1 hour away from the Sai Center, but it didn't really stop me from going. And so I used to go, and then maybe the young adults would kind of hang out for some time and I would come back. But one day I was telling, I had this, they were a young couple. I was telling the brother, it's a very long drive and I'm not a fan of driving. So every Sunday it's such a, I have to push myself to go to bhajans. And ever since then, the couple, every time they would say, Shraddha, are you coming to bhajans? Please come home for lunch. They didn't want to send me home after driving 1 hour. And that akka would make fresh dosas, fresh rotis, whatever I wanted, she would make it and give it to me, just like my mother would do, and it was so selfless. I have till date never made and fed anybody like that, fresh dosas and things like that. And to me, again, somebody who showers a mother's love is nothing more than the greatest mother and Swami. So one more of those, like, slap on my face that, yeah, he exists through all of us and we just have to look out. And it was during one of these dosa conversations, it was 3 years later after that, after the pandemic experience that I shared with you. And this time it was me who was looking to get married, and I had been part of the matrimony process for a while. And for those who are not aware, the arranged process can be a little tedious and long, because we are talking to different people, testing mine and their compatibility before we make a decision. So it's a very big deal. And I was talking to the brother there one day over lunch, and I was saying, I'm part of this process, and I want a Sai devotee, but I don't want to publicize that I'm a Sai devotee because nobody my age does these things. And I was kind of apprehensive to do that. And then he shared his experience where he had hid from his friends that he was going to Puttaparthi to meet Swami, and then Swami caught him for that and said, I'm in those friends as well. What is the big deal? And so that story stuck with me, and he said, from here on, whoever you meet, you're going to tell this, because this is such an important part of your life. You can't hide it. And so I nodded my head and moved along. And then comes November 23rd, 2023. I was in the Indianapolis Eye Center. We had done a beautiful birthday program for Swami. And then this was one of the photos there. And one auntie, she passed me the mic when it was time for Aarti, and she said, today you sing the Aarti. And I said, Auntie, it's fine. Everybody's going to sing the Aarti. It's fine. She said, no, keep the mic and sing. And I didn't notice, but apparently when the Aarti was going on, so there were 3 flowers over here, and one of those middle flowers had fallen, and you can see a little bit fallen right down if you look below the picture. And so that auntie said, definitely whatever you thought about is going to come true. And again, I said, everybody sang Aarti, it's a special day, everybody's wishes are going to come true. And I just pushed it away. But in all honesty, I had in my mind, as I had said, I'm really bored of this matrimony process, Swami. Enough now. By next birthday, I want to be done with all this. I don't want to be in this place anymore. And that's it. I had left it. And then continued, I was talking to different people. And then I happened to talk to one person. We talked for 2 to 3 months, and he said, come meet me. Let's meet in California. We should take this forward, maybe. And I said, okay. So I went. I flew there, and on the flight, I thought about the Memphis auntie and her incident. That story came to my mind, and I said, no, I'm not even going to wish for such things. It's not going to happen. So I did not pray for it. In fact, I prayed against it. I said, no, I'm not going to think about this. That auntie is blessed. That's fine. Not for me. And then we go, and after a day or two, he took me to this bookstore. It was just a wellness and meditation bookstore. Nothing which we would associate it with anything else. And we walked around, and there was different books, and there was agarbatti stands, and different rocks that are used for meditation, and all of those things. And then we are walking through, and we come right in front of a shelf, and there's only one book in that row, and that book happens to be The Holy Man and the Psychiatrist. I was shocked when I saw that book, and but I hadn't told him anything, so he had no clue, and I had to play it, very poker face, but in my heart I was shocked. And then he said, I've had a really good time with you. I'm good to stop talking to any more girls, and I want to take this forward. And at that moment, I looked up, and on the wall there was all the different saints. There was Shirdi Baba, there was Jesus Christ, there was Paramahamsa Yogananda. So many of them, some people I didn't recognize as well. And then there was this very photo, which is there on the screen. And to me, this is a very rare photo. This is only the second time in my life that I was seeing this photo. And ever since, I've never seen this photo in any center. It's such a rare photo. And I saw this very same photo over there. And, of course, needless to say, that was my sign. And, all my alarm bells were going off. That, wait, I just got a sign, and he's telling me he wants to move forward. So needless to say, we moved forward, and November 23rd, 2024, exactly 1 year later, exactly like I had asked for, we were, my parents and I and my sister, we were in Shirdi, and we placed my very first wedding invitation card at Shirdi, on Shirdi Baba's feet in Shirdi. And we're deep into wedding planning. So yes, I was not part of the process anymore, and exactly 1 year later, on the birthday, this had happened. And needless to say, he's definitely a very, very calm person. So, that came true as well. And so now I had to keep up my end of the promise. I promised the brother in Indianapolis that, okay, I'm going to share all these things, and I'm going to make sure I say that, this being part of the Sai Center is something important to me. So I told him, and he just nodded his head, and he said, okay, good, do it. And that's been the journey since. And November 23rd, 2025, he and I attended the 100th year celebrations in Austin Sai Center together. We were part of the YA play. He sat through the whole day, and he comes to every bhajan session since. He's a very silent spectator at the back of the hall, but he's there. So that all this long story to say, that day when Auntie gave that talk, it was definitely most 100% Swami talking through her, avatar of Swami that day, who made her share that story, who gave me the courage to even wish, even a fleeting thought that I want a sign as well. It was that avatar who came in the form of that brother who said, you have to talk about this, and you have to continue being a part of Sai Center. You're not going to stop this after marriage. It was that avatar which came in to my then fiance and now husband to take me to that bookstore. He had no idea what book was there or what picture was there, but that left such a long lasting image. It was that avatar that made all my fleeting thoughts, I wouldn't even say wishes, come true. And I said I'm a hothead. I'm not going to get such a calm person, and I did. I got everything that I had wished for, and through all of the different people that I had met, they were there, egging me on, indirectly or directly through that talk. And that was it's been when I think back, that this has been my journey with so many different people. And of course, after I moved to Austin, again, I've met some of the most amazing people. And Bindu auntie, who was the president of Austin Science Center last year, I had messaged her about 2 months before I was moving to Austin, and I said, I'm coming. I hope there's a Sai Center. I'm looking forward to be a part of it. But then after that, I went for my wedding, and we moved in. And being kind of like an introvert, I was kind of procrastinating coming to the center. I don't know, how it's gonna be and everything. And out of the blue, Bindu auntie says, "Hey, congrats! I think you would have gotten married by now. When are we seeing you in the center?" And that blew my mind. I mean, why would anybody who I've never seen, who I've never talked to, invite me to come to Sai Center based on a message that I sent 2 months back? And from that day till today, she has been a pure embodiment of love. She has been truly, when she speaks, it's like Swami speaking. Every time I talk to her, she was part of this regional inspirational channel as well. And to be very honest, my entire talk today is based on one conversation that I had with her. I said, "Auntie, I'm going to speak in this regional inspirational channel, but I don't know what to talk about. I don't have any great experiences." And she said, "Talk anything, talk about how Swami's been he continues to be in your life." And I chuckled and I said, "Auntie, if I go to the public and I say I've been coming to center for like all my life, and I still sometimes question, is God real? And I'll have all these unwanted questions. If I go say all this to the public, it won't be very nice." And then she said, "Yeah, that's fine. Public is also Swami." And so just that one line made my entire topic about how each and every person is just one more embodiment and one more time that Swami came and took an avatar. And that's kind of my call to action for all of you, to go back and reflect and try to see, put on that lens, put on the Sai lens, and see Swami in everybody. So that really, as I want to wrap it up here to say, by being here and listening to me, you got voluntold, unfortunately, today to also take this back, and let's, as a community, let's go back and try to find that Swami in each and every person that we meet and we talk to. And when I mean that, I mean that even if it's, if we want to say something difficult, we can imagine that person as being Swami, then maybe our words would change, our tones would change, and seeing that in everybody, the people that we live with, the people that we work with, our best friends and our worst enemies. Because maybe then eventually, just like this beautiful picture on this slide, one day, instead of looking for it externally, maybe one day we'll find it within. Personally, I'm very far from that goal, so I cannot give that as a call for action when I am nowhere near that to promise for that. But I can say we can all try to uplift ourselves as the community by seeing the God in every person that we meet, and by speaking with love, by behaving with love, just the way Swami would want it. And this whole experience for me was made possible because some of the other young adults in my center taught me this. When I would share problems with them, they would say, what if Swami wanted you to be here? What if that person was Swami? Shraddha, it's all Swami. Any problem was just converted into positivity by putting his name in there. And so I'm going to do the same thing today and say, let's all go back and do that. Let's find the Swami within each and every person that we meet, in center and outside center. So we may all grow towards his final principle that he and we are one. And I just want to end by there's this one bhajan that I really love. It's an English bhajan called Sai, You're My Heart and Soul. And one of the uncles who I met, he was casually over dinner one day, he said, the last line of the song is, he is in one, he is in all, we can see him in everything. And then the uncle said, if we have to talk to Swami, which I think we all should today, to commit to this promise, to say, Swami, you are in one, you are in all, we can see you in everyone. So I'm going to wrap up there by saying that's my commitment for after this talk, to go out there and see that Swami in each and every person. Thank you for the opportunity, and Sai
Shraddha. Sweet, sweet Shraddha. That's so beautifully done. As I was listening to you, it brought back so many memories for myself too. I was thinking back to the multiple region-wide trips to Parthi, how our children used to run around, and it was such a safe home for them. And they all would get together. They'll have practices every day in the hope that Swami will give them an opportunity to perform in his presence. And then after the whole program, Swami blessed all of them and so on. And it was so beautiful the way you were
Thank
sharing.
you.
And also, this whole important thing that Swami not only wants us to realize his life's mission is for self-transformation, for us to realize we are no different from God, but to see that same divinity is there in everyone.
Everybody.
So you brought up that point so beautifully. Yes, all these reflections, the love that people share with us are all reflections of Swami only. And then Swami beautifully gave us that analogy of wearing the blue glasses, right? In
Yes.
the world is not blue. The world has got different shades of colors and so on, but you wear blue glasses and everything looks blue to you. What are those blue glasses? Swami's love in your heart. And you have that, fill that, and pray to Swami, fill it more, fill it more, fill it more, empty it out and fill it with your love. Then we can see everyone with that same love. So that's so beautiful. Your sweet talk reminded me of all those things. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much.
And the next speaker for continuing this journey is Sister Bindu. Sister Bindu Kumar is now the president of South Houston Sai Center. But when I first met her in depth, she was the devotional coordinator. And I know that she has had a journey for over 2 decades in the Houston Sai Center itself. Like me, she has come to one center and she has grown in that center. And she has been a Balvika's teacher. She has been a Balvika's parent first, then Balvika's teacher, then coordinated different service activities. Swami has been molding her through different areas of his organization in such a way that she very beautifully has coordinated through the pandemic and all through up until Swami's 100th birthday, many different devotional activities. The most of all that I've been involved with, she coordinated the Pancharatnam singing from the center. Houston, for many of us that from the region, but of course this inspirational channel is watched by people from outside the region as well. So they may not know the geographic distances involved. North Houston and South Houston, and the distances that people have to travel. But she was not deterred. She said, anybody that wants to come, that wants to practice, and I'm not musically trained, I will somehow help all of you. Let's come together. Let's practice in our house. If we need to go to a regional practice, I will drive you. I will rent a car, a minivan, and I will drive people there. So, took personal responsibility, whether it be the center bhajans, whether it be a big activity like this, like learning the five pancharatnams and keeping the interest alive. And she would even notate to people. I found it so inspirational that she did not have musical training, so she didn't know how to write the actual musical notation, but she wrote it in a way that a person that did not have musical training will understand and they will sing. And if they wanted it in Malayalam, she wrote it in Malayalam and gave it to them. So I was so touched by how much she would do to inspire the people, to bring them in and keep them engaged. So Swami really brings people like that to get other people to come in. And of course, the individual call is there, one-to-one, heart-to-heart connection to Swami is there. But when we have to do it as a collective group, how to bring people together. Sister Bindu, you have really, really touched my heart. And I want you to share your experience with the rest of all of the people in our region and around, outside of our region as well. So welcome to this channel. Please take it over from here. Saira.
Thank you, Sister Vijayashri. Thanks for your kind words. I really loved the Pancharatna Kriti journey, and it was a really enjoyable experience. Thanks to you and Brother Venkat, we all learned Pancharatna Kritis in our center, and we also got to sing as a group in Austin, and looking forward to many more opportunities like that. First of all, before I begin, humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan, Sri Satya Sai Baba. And I want to express reverence and gratitude to my parents for making me who I am today. And I would like to start my story from my childhood. I would like to say how I got faith in God and faith in Swami, how it came to me. There are small instances that brought me closer to God and also later Swami. First of all, there was an incident when I was a little girl. I loved to eat sweets like laddu, Mysore pak, jalebi, all these things. I loved those. And one day in the morning, I had a craving for laddu. And to my surprise, in the evening, somebody comes to my house, some friend or a relative, I don't remember who that is, and he brings a small box of laddu. And then I was so surprised. Today morning only I wished for this. How did it happen? And my mother used to tell me, God is an indweller. He knows everything. There are no secrets with God. He knows even every thought that crosses your mind. Then I started believing after this incident. Maybe what she said is true. And then there's another incident that happened when I was about 8 or 9 years old. It's about Lord Ayyappa of Shabarimala. My father used to go to Shabarimala every year. It is a ritual, the filling the coconut with the ghee and doing the puja, and a group of people leaves to Shabarimala and they come back after 2 days with all the blessings. We ladies don't go, but only the men and the little girls. So at that time, Shabarimala was, there were a lot of animals and all that. And my grandmother used to tell me, it's a place where there are a lot of tigers and snakes and all that. So you have to keep on praying for your father to come back safe. So I really believed that, and I was really scared. And then on the day that my father was supposed to come back, he was late by a few minutes, and I started worrying. Oh, and I keep on asking my mother, Amma, why is Appa not coming? Why is he late? And then she said, don't worry, he will come, he will come. And then I kept on asking him every few minutes. And then finally, to pacify me, my mother told me one mantra, and she told me to go and sit in the, stairs by the veranda and chant this mantra 108 times. And by the time you finish, your dad will come. And then I thought, okay, this is the only way, I can keep my father safe. And I started chanting it very respectfully, prayerfully, and with all faith in the Lord. And I chanted, and by the time I chanted 108, the car came to the door, to the gate, the door opened, and my father came out. The timing was so perfect that I was so taken aback. I thought God really exists, like 108 times I chanted, and the moment I finished the prayer, my dad was there, all safe, and with a smile he came, and we were all very happy. And that was one of the incidents that instilled my faith in God. Until then, my mother and my grandmother always pray in the puja room. We also repeat the prayers, and they say this is God. But how is that the faith comes to you? How do you believe? These are some of the incidents that help me to have stronger, make my faith stronger. And as a little girl, I used to decorate the puja room with the flowers, and decorate and get it ready for my grandfather to say his prayers. And I also used to admire the pictures of the gods in the puja room, and it's usually so beautiful to see the gods' pictures. There are a lot of animals also in the pictures, like Krishna sits with a cow, Ganesha has a mouse, and Shiva has a bull, and Lord Kartikeya has a beautiful peacock behind him. Ayyappa has a tiger, and I always used to admire all the pictures and all the animals and all that. And then there was a picture of Swami in the middle. That was a young picture of Swami. Swami was in his 30s, all smiling. And it looked a little different. It looked like a human picture. Then I asked my grandmother, my mother, who is this person? It doesn't look like a God's picture. Who is this person, Amma? And she said, this is God in human form. This is Sai Baba. He lives in Andhra Pradesh. And then I was so surprised. Oh, God in human form. And she said, one day we will go and visit him. Whenever the time comes, we will go as a family and visit him. And then I said, okay. And I was looking forward to that date. At that time, I was a very little girl, about 12 years or something. And then I wanted to share one story. My father used to give me a lot of books to read during the summer holidays. And one day, he gave me a book to read, and it was about a saint. And I started reading, and about the 3 chapters I read, and then it was time for some exam or something. So I kept the book away on top of the alamara, and I kind of forgot about it. And then one day, somebody rings the doorbell in my house, and I go and usually whenever somebody rings the bell, we girls look through the window. We don't open the door, but look through the window and see who that is, and go and tell mom or dad. So this time when I looked, it was an old man standing at the door, and what he said was, one of my books I have given here for reading, and it has not been returned. That was what he said. And then I was intrigued because so far nobody asked for any book, So I went to my dad. He was having an afternoon nap after the meal. It was around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I told my dad, and my dad slowly came out. And by the time my dad came out and we opened the door, this man had already left. He was just leaving. He went to the gate, he opened the gate, and he started walking away. He didn't say anything more. But then we were reminded that there was some book that he wanted had to be returned. And then my father thought for a while, and he said, remember, Bindu, I had given you a book to read about 3 months back. Go bring the book. So I went to my room, and on top of the alamara, the book was still there. So I took it, and I remembered the book, and I took it and I brought it downstairs and gave it to my father. And he opened the book and showed me one of the pages. There was a picture of Shirdi Sai Baba, standing in full size picture of Shirdi Sai Baba. And then he showed me the picture and asked, does this man who came to the door look anything like this? And then when I looked at the picture, I realized it was exactly like that he looked. He was wearing white clothes, and it was white cloth over his head also, and he was holding a long stick in his hand, and also had a cloth bag on his other side. And this man was talking really loud also. I was thinking whether the neighbors would hear, because he was so loud. He said, talked about the book, and then he went away in a haste also. So then my father, as soon as I said, this is the same person, my father said, oh, that is Shirdi Baba himself. Go see where he is. And then by the time he had already gone, we went to the place where, the road turns, and we ran there, and he couldn't see him anymore. And then my father was really upset that he didn't get to see this person. At that time, I didn't know who Shirdi Baba was also. But then the book we finished reading the book with all respect. And then my father returned the book to the friend from whom he borrowed. And then we got a copy of the book ourselves. And from then onwards, we started reading Shirdi Satcharita in all respect. We did finish reading, and we did prasad, like a wheat porridge prasad, and we did arati. And from then on, this book became my favorite. Every time I would read the book, I feel like I'm in Shirdi. I would be transported to a Shirdi of the early 1900s, and I would feel like I'm there. I'm experiencing all the stories myself. So this book, wherever I go on a long journey, I would take the book with me and keep it. And even on on regular days, I wanted some inspiration. I would open a random chapter from the book and read it, or a random paragraph from the book and read it, and think of it as Baba's message to me. It was a heart-to-heart connection. I still have it. It is through Shirdi Baba that I got attracted to Satya Sai Baba himself. And then after that, we moved to a different house, from where the Satya Sai Center, the Samiti, was closer to our house. So we were fortunate to attend bhajans every Thursday. And the thing that attracted me in that center was the discipline, the silence, the punctuality, and the quality of the bhajans. Nobody would talk anything, but everything would happen correctly on time. And the bhajans were of so high quality that I would love to come there. So I would finish my homework and be ready to go to the bhajans every Thursday. So that became our routine. By the time I was in pre-degree or something, 17 or 18 years old. And then my parents used to go to Puttaparthi for Onam as part of the Seva Dal. They used to get, the whole group used to get Pada Namaskar on the day before they returned to the hometown. So my parents were really blessed. Many times they've received Pada Namaskar from Swami, but I couldn't go as part of the group because we were in school, or we were in college or something, we were studying, so we couldn't go with them. And later I married and came to New York City. In 1994 was my marriage. We came to New York City, and also then I lived for 1 year. We lived in Hoboken, New Jersey. And at that time, we used to visit the Flushing Mahavallabha Ganapati temple in Flushing, New York. And then we were surprised to see that bhajans were happening in the basement of the temple. My joy knew no bounds, because the first time I'm listening to bhajans after coming to US. So it gave me so much joy. But the unfortunate thing was, the place where we stayed in Hoboken, New Jersey, was so far away. We couldn't go there on a regular basis with a small baby. By the time my daughter was born, she was about 1 year old. We couldn't, think of going there. And I didn't know about any other center in New Jersey. And then the only solace was Swami's picture in our puja room. And by the time, it was a picture of, Swami seated with the Abhaya Hasta. So when I sit in prayer, looking at Swami's picture, blessing hand, I would sometimes feel like the picture had different messages for me. Sometimes I feel like Swami saying, wait, your time will come. That Abhaya Hasta felt like telling me, wait, like that. And then I kept on my prayers to Swami, and I also told the children, about Swami, and waiting for an opportunity to get closer to Swami in the US. And then I want to share 2 instances when Swami's grace had saved us. Only Swami's grace. The year 2000, my son was born, And in 2001, the World Trade Center incident happened. In September 11, 2001, my husband used to work in that building, the World Trade Center building. About 4 months before the incident happened, his office moved to a different building. So because of that, his life was saved. Actually, um, his train station was in the World Trade Center building only. The incident happened at about 8:45 a.m. in the morning. About half an hour before that, he was in the building in the train station. He got out of the train station and walked to his office. He was safe, and it was so close that um, we were lucky that he was spared. It was a very tragic incident, and the second building fell after some time, and it was really chaos. And my husband could not come home the same day, and I had no clue where he was. And we were all spend the night in prayer. But then in the late evening, I saw an email saying from him saying that he was safe and that he was in his cousin's house, and all the telephone connections were disrupted, so he could not call me. So that's why he sent an email. So I knew he was safe, and he came home the next day. But that was a close incident where Swami's grace alone saved him. Our prayers, whenever we pray, we are like Swami takes care of us. The more we pray to him, he takes care of us. Whatever happens, when he is there with us, we don't have to worry. So that was one of the moments where it was such a close encounter. And there was another incident that happened after we moved to Houston. We moved to Houston in 2005, and in a couple of years from then, once during a summer vacation, the children were bored and they wanted to go to the beach. So we went with another family in our van to the Surfside Beach here in Texas, in Houston. And the children were playing in the water along their children, the other family's children, our children, and the husbands were playing in the water. And then there was a rip tide. They felt the pull of the water was getting stronger, and somehow the children managed to get out. But my husband was caught uh, in the pull, and he struggled to swim out, and he was almost like failing. And then we didn't know what to do. It was all happening all of a sudden, and he was struggling to come out of the water, but he already drank some water, and body was becoming heavier, and he couldn't, manage to come out. So I was very frantic. I didn't know what to do at the moment. So all I did was look up into the skies and cried, Sai Ram. With all my heart, I called out to Swami. I didn't have even my phone in my hand to call 911. I looked up one time and called Sai Ram. That's it. I didn't know what I did after that. I think Swami took control and did what had to be done. Somehow, I felt like there was a family was coming and getting ready to come out of the car. They just came. So I ran to them and I told that lady, please call 911. People are drowning. And then that lady saw that horror on my face, and she realized that I was not joking. So she immediately called 911. And then I ran back to the shore where the situation was not improving. And then suddenly a car comes, and a man walks out of the car and goes straight into the water, not even asking what's happening here or anything. He goes straight into the water where other people are looking, standing there stunned, because although they know how to swim, they cannot risk their own lives to save this person. In that situation, this man comes, walks straight into the water, goes straight inside where my husband was almost gone, and he holds him by his hand, which was the only body part which was yet outside. Holds him by the hand and pulls him out of the water and brings him out and puts him on the shore. And by the time, since the lady had called 911, the emergency vehicle had arrived and they gave him oxygen immediately. And he threw up a lot of water and froth and all that. And then with the oxygen, he became stable, and they took him to the hospital, and they told us one person come with us. So I entrusted my children to the other family and gave the car key to them, and I went with my husband to the hospital. And then the next day, my husband felt better, and he was saved. They gave him antibiotics and all, and the medical since he was taken to the hospital, it was well taken care of after that. But that was a very close call. And only one thing I remember: only one time I looked up into the sky and called Sai Ram. I don't know how. The moment I called his name, he started, and um, he made me do what I had to do, like telling those people to call 911. And and one thing that happened was, after this incident happened, those people who were there wanted to thank the person who saved his life, and they looked around to find this guy, and there was nowhere to be found. This person was nowhere to be found. So that was one of the incidents that still gives me, shakes me when I talk about it. We are all alive. My husband, my children are alive because of Swami's grace. From that moment onwards, our life took a different turn. We are all living our lives only for Swami now. There was a drowning incident. That's the most scariest incident that ever happened in our lives. And then I think in our center, they had the Parthi trip, which we were not able to go. It was a little disappointing. For some reason, we were not able to go with the group. But we went after a few months, we went as a family, and our family in India joined the trip. My mother, father, my husband's parents, they all joined us, and we all went to see Swami together. And we had a darshan couple of times also. We went after that, and we still cherish the memory of Swami. Swami gave speech also. We listened to the speech, and Swami gave darshan. And I tell my children, keep the memory ever fresh in your hearts, because it's the most precious. Even my son remembers that. And I remember, like, he was sitting in my lap because he was so small, he couldn't go to sit to the men's side. He was sitting on my lap, and when Swami was looking towards us, I remember raising him and showing him to Swami. When Swami looks towards us, I believe that Swami must have seen us also and blessed us. Swami showed his blessing hand, and that was one of the most favorite memories of Parthi that I have. And another thing that happened was, in one of the darshans, after the darshan, when we came out, on the men's side, all the men from the other side, they came out, and we met outside, and we were talking about how the darshan was that day and all. And my father was not there. And I asked my husband, where is my dad? And he said he was not feeling well, and so he went back to the room to take some rest. But then I realized I was the one who left the room last, and I had locked the door, and the key was in my hand. All the boxes. We had straight come from US, and our bags were all in the room. And so I remember I locked the room really well, and I had the key in my hand. Then I told, oh, I have the keys in my hand. Let me go quickly and open the door for my dad. So I hurried to the room to open the door for him. I didn't see my dad anywhere there. And then I saw that the door was open. And I pushed the door and went inside, and my dad was sleeping soundly in the room. Um, I was so surprised how he got to open the door. But I couldn't wake him up, so I waited until he woke up, and I asked him, Dad, how did you enter? And he said, the door was open. He said the latch was there, but the door was open. But that still to this moment remains a mystery for me. It only Swami must have done it, because when he comes late, tired, uh, who's there to open the door? It's only Swami who did that, and he was sleeping so peacefully. He had slept for almost a half an hour by the time I came, and it still remains a mystery for me up to this moment. And then another small story I wanted to share. Another small story. It is a story about a doll. My son, when he was a little boy, I used to tell him stories of Swami when he goes to sleep. Like a bedtime story. So whenever he feels so close to Swami, one time he asked me, "Mom, do you have a plush toy of Swami that I can hug and go to sleep?" That they feel so close to Swami, they want to hug Swami and go to sleep. Then I told, they don't make dolls of gods and all, because what if some child throws it on the floor or something? We have to treat it with respect, so we don't make dolls of Swami. And then what happened was, uh, about 3-4 years back, I had gone to our center on Guru Purnima day. We were celebrating Guru Purnima, and I had gone to the center a couple of hours earlier to drop off the keyboard and some other things. We have so many things on special occasions that we may need 1 or 2 trips to the center to put everything there. So I went to center about 2 hours before the program was supposed to start to drop off the keyboard. It was just me and my husband alone. And we dropped the keyboard, opened the center, went inside. No one was there. Put the keyboard and made the connections and all. And then we're about to come out, and there was a doorbell rang. And then I thought, oh my God, who is this? I thought maybe the school people found out that somebody had come and they wanted to check, because it was at the inappropriate time and someone was there. But then I went and opened the door. One man was there, a stranger, and he said, Sai Ram. I was thinking, oh my God. And I said, Sai Ram, and I didn't know who that was. And then he started talking. He said he's visiting from Venezuela. He was coming, he came for an official trip, and then he was a Sai devotee, so he found out where the center was and he had come. I was so happy. I told him, I'm glad you are here. And I was, and I told him that, usually the center time is not right now, but I'm glad, you came now that we are here. We will take you home, and then we will bring you back after 2 hours. And then what happened was he brought with him a small doll of Swami, a small plush toy of Swami, and he was holding him, and this is for the center, he said. And then as soon as I saw it, my husband and I were saying, isn't this the kind of thing that our son wished for a few years back? And then this is a doll that I have. This one. This is the doll. And then we were so shocked to see that. And then that man asked us, oh, did your son wish for something like this? Then this is for you. Take it. It comes from Swami. And then we were so surprised, but we were hesitant. And then he said, I will send another one for the center. And then we took it and gave it to our son. He was very happy. So after so many years, about 15 years, his yearning was satisfied. Swami listens to every small wish and yearning and thought from every devotee. Thank you for your time. I'm almost finished. And I would like to express my gratitude to our Sai family, Houston Sai family. I love to be part of this center. Such a vibrant community we have here, such talented people, and I love to be part of it. And people are so full of love, and they're always supportive, and it's a very pleasant journey here. And I would like to, thank you for the opportunity. I'd like to end my words with a small poem that I once wrote, and not me, but Swami's grace helped me to write this. So I would like to share. Do we have a few minutes, Sister Vijayashree? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Swami lights the lamp of love in every single heart with grace. It is but just a wonder how he brings a smile to every face. He wants us all to surrender all our concerns and worries. In return, what he'll render is nothing less than mental peace. He is here, there, and everywhere. We look around and don't find him, but close your eyes and you'll see his smiling face just in your heart. Take some time to say his name every now and then in life. His thoughts will wash your sins away and make your heart pure and bright. He teaches us the power of love through his words and actions every day. He wants us all to see himself in all beings everywhere. He urges us to look beneath the Maya that is covering us. He reminds us who we really are, which is nothing but his reflection. Swami says our real enemies are not outside but just within. He wants us all to wipe them clean by repeating his name, Sai Ram. He calls on us to do service to the sick and needy, poor and all. That's the very best offering which you can give that he will love. Thank you all so much. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, that was so beautiful. Very, very nice. See, Swami has really taken you from the innocent child believing only the parents' words. Of course, the mother is the first teacher who takes us to show who the father is and who the divine father and mother is, and so on. So, through that journey, Swami has molded you to become the community leader that you have become. So, in that spirit, I really pray to Swami that he makes each and every one of us, those that are listening to Swami's glory, those that have been fortunate to come into his fold, to make each one of us to become the true, realize the true potential within each of us to become the best version of ourselves that he has planned for us. With that, this brings us to the end of this session. Please remember to go and register for the retreat that's happening on the Labor Day weekend. And if you would like to do the hotel reservation, they are open as well. The sooner we get them done, the better, because the block of rooms that they've assigned for us may be given away if we don't book them on time. So please do register, and we look forward to seeing everyone. And we will start a new series for the next quarter for July, August, and September on the first Wednesday. As always, please join us. And we thank Swami for keeping us all so lovingly, so caringly in his fold, listening to each of these devotees, listening to the stories of Swami through each one's expression, each one's journey, each one's experience is what makes us feel more committed, makes us our faith stronger as well. So let us all join in prayer and thank Swami for this wonderful, wonderful gift in our life. And I will conclude with Om Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, Swami.